obviously the last one didn't go exactly how you might have hoped, kind of a crazy one. What lessons do you take out of an experience like that?
Wear goggles inside the fight. No, like you said, it was definitely an unfortunate event, and it was crazy how it happened. But like, I still gained a lot from that. You know, showing the UFC I'm willing to step up on 3-week notice, take a main event fight, not afraid to go 5 rounds, not afraid to fight somebody that's top 5, top 3. So it's like, there's positives, and then there's definitely a lot of negatives. But me, I gotta always look on the brighter side.
Yeah, I know you kind of campaigned wanting the rematch to run it back, and of course that didn't happen. Now you guys are on the same card. I mean, is there a little something personal there? I mean, do you take some offense to the fact that he's fighting somebody else?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those where there's a little salt on my shoulders right now, but it's all good. It's like, for me, I got to get past Demian Maia. I don't want to get distracted with Leon, and then wait in the back and give Leon a 3-piece and a soda. Then maybe that'll give me my rematch.
It's a good plan. What did you think when they gave you Maia? I know it wasn't the fight that you were looking for, but obviously a legend in the sport. So what do you think when they matched you up?
I was actually very excited for it because it was one of those fights I actually called for too. If I knew that I was going to get the Leon fight, because he's still a huge name, a great name, big name, and he's a legend respected by all fighters. And to have a guy like that on my resume before he retires is going to be great. And like, literally, you know, you have a million people, oh, he's 42, yada, 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 end of his career, but he's literally 3-1 out of his last 4, and he literally almost beat Gilbert Burns. He had him in a bad spot, mounted him, took his back, so it's like, he's still dangerous, so I'm not looking past him.
How do you get ready for a specialist like that, right? A guy that's so good in one area. Like, I've heard people say, you know, well, you got to drill jiu-jitsu every day, and I've heard other people say, I'm not going to get as good in jiu-jitsu in 6 weeks as that guy is, so what's the point? So how do you prep for specialists like that?
For me, it was like being very smart, putting on the gi, jumping guard a lot, doing a lot of flying triangles. No, I'm kidding. Like you said, I'm not going to learn all that jiu-jitsu in one camp, so it's like, I didn't focus on that. I looked at the other things. You know, he's 43 years old. My training coach is 42 years old and is PFL middleweight champion. So, like, you know, I'm fighting a guy with that type of age. So I know what a guy that old feels like. So Lewis Taylor, I got him back there with me. So I got everything I need with him.
Nice. He was here earlier, and he said, look, this might be his last fight. You know, he hopes to do one more, but if it doesn't go his way, it could be it. I mean, would there be anything special, I guess, or would it be almost bittersweet, like being the guy that, you know, destroyed the legend, I guess, and ended his career?
You know, honestly, it's an honor to fight him and have him on there. And like, when I do beat him and he does retire, like, I'd rather have that than him lose 5 or 6 in a row, and then you're looking at him like it tarnishes like your legacy type thing. And I feel like he's held to a high standard right now because he was that guy that didn't change his game. He knew what he was good at. He did jiu-jitsu and he stuck with it. And he won a lot of fights where they fought for the title twice. So that's a different type of respect. He didn't have to change his game or, oh, I'm going to go to this gym or that gym or try to learn cartwheel kicks or anything like that. He knew what he was good at and he stuck with it and he won with it.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, this would be a big win, obviously a very recognizable name. So where do you go from here? I mean, do you have your targets or anything? Do you keep chasing Leon? I mean, does he need to be careful with the 3-piece and the soda?
I'm going to be rooting for Nate Diaz, you know, because obviously if Nate Diaz wins, then definitely the Leon Edwards fight makes sense. So I'm going to be Nate Diaz's army. Hopefully he wins that fight. Otherwise, you know, I want to look for somebody definitely top 5. I don't want to look past Maia, but it's like when you beat a guy like that, you deserve a #1 contender fight or guys that are in that title picture.
Oh, right here. You like in February after your win, you were calling out Li Jingliang, saying like it doesn't make sense for me to call out these big names because I'm kind of. Well, I think your phrasing was high risk, low reward for a lot of these fighters. Now you're getting Demian Maia, athletes, someone, as you said, future Hall of Famer and all of that. So do you think that is a direct reason you got this fight because you are willing to step up on short notice against Leon Edwards?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, like I called for Li Jingliang because I'm sitting there, man, I won 8 of my last 9 fights. They haven't given me a ranked opponent. All these guys are saying no, and I'm like, what the heck? What do I need to do? Then I was like, me and my coach were literally talking. We're like, dude, we have to be ready to step up because that's the only way that these guys can't say no is if it's a week notice fight. They already had a full camp, so they have to say yeah. So then we figured it would be that way, and I'm glad like the UFC respected that enough to give me a bigger name than Li Jingliang. And then so I still skipped a couple of rungs on that ladder to the top.
Is that still going to be your mindset moving forward? Because like I think Kevin Holland even said at one point, like the higher you get ranked, the less short notice fights you're going to be able to take, or the less active you're going to be. And I like to be active, so the higher you get ranked, Are you still going to try to stay ready for these short notice fights? Because still in that top 5, no one's really fighting each other at this point in the welterweight division.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like guys like Holland shouldn't be taking short notice fights because he sucks in wrestling. Me, I'm good everywhere, so I could compete with any of these guys, top 5 to top 3 in any aspect of martial arts. So like, I'm not gonna be afraid to take a short notice fight like that because I know I can compete with these guys anywhere, and I'm always in shape and I'm always ready. So like, I'd rather take a short notice fight because, I mean, like you said, it's like there's less nerves with it. You're not sitting there studying this guy for 8 weeks, dieting hard, sitting there being annoying and being hangry all the time. So it's like, all right, I just got to do that for 1 week. Cool, let's do it.
And we can't have you up here without bringing it up. A lot's going on overseas. I think you're probably the kind of the face of in the UFC for like speaking out about what's happening in Palestine and everything. So has that been a distraction at all to you with people approaching you, or even your mindset being on what's going on over there?
It's one of those things where it's like you literally get depressed just going on social media because you see it, and that's where you get the real news is from social media nowadays. But for me, it motivates me because it shows me that I'm fighting for something more, knowing that those people are looking up to me and knowing that like a win for me is a win for them. So I just want to give these people something to cheer about, something to be happy about. Whether it's for 1 day or 1 week, that I know that my win is their win.
Belal, right here. Just a question about your mindset in terms of preparation and having to take that long road. All these fights you're winning and waiting for a ranked opponent, then you finally get Leon and that happens. How is it mentally for you to stay focused and stay ready to keep striving to be at the top, knowing that maybe some things aren't going your way luck-wise along the way?
For me, just enjoying the journey and enjoying the process, knowing that like everything's already written for me. Like I'm a very religious guy, so like I know that God's plan is greater than my plan, and I know that sometimes the longer road is the better road for you to take because you go through the ups and downs, and then once I get to the top, it's gonna mean a lot more to me, knowing that I went through all this, all that, and then once I get that belt around my waist, it's gonna be worth it.
Does it make it easier almost? I mean, when you finally get there and you get fights like this against a legend like Maia, who's been fighting champions and #1 contenders, does it make it easier almost, your mindset, when you get here to just be ready? Because you've been waiting that long, and then when finally the door opens, charge right through there.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's time for me to prove it. A big thing, it was like, you don't want to go in there. Obviously, I respect Demian Maia, he's a legend, but like I don't want to go in there, oh my God, I'm fighting Demian Maia. Like, I belong with these guys, so it should be one of those things like Muhammad's fighting Maia. It's not like, oh man, he's fighting a legend in Demian Maia. I'm gonna be a legend myself, so I'm ready for it.
In a big crowd, the biggest and best fight card they've ever seen in Arizona. I know you're excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that energy, man. It's gonna be a different type of energy. I'm already getting used to it again. Fans waiting outside, looking for you just to sign an autograph or something like that. And it makes fight week real again. It's showing us that we're getting back to normal.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Belal, we're here. Let's say that this is your moment. You feel like this is your time because you got a certain swag and confidence all at the same time. Like, this your time to let everybody know what we've kind of seen with you getting all these wins, that you have a chance to get that belt one day.
Yeah, I always got swag. But like you said, now people are starting to just realize it. They're starting to see it now. I feel like it's kind of like with Masvidal, where he's always been the same person. He's always fought the same way. Like, he was always that guy that, the real diehards knew who he was and things like that. But then all of a sudden when the UFC started really, oh, this guy got a personality, this guy is promotable, then now he's one of the biggest stars. And I feel like that's what I'm going to be.
So you got the confidence, you get your hand raised on Saturday night. Are you going to get on that mic and call straight for Leon? Or are you going to get on that mic and pull something that we only see coming? Can you give us a preview of that?
You don't know. Maybe I'm an analyst now, so maybe I'll go back there, be on the desk, and call Leon's fight. So I got a lot of plans up my sleeve right now for Saturday night.
I can tell. And give some insight to the 7 days out that you did with Will Harris of Anatomy of a Fighter, because from a human aspect, it gives us an insight of you as a person and your religion, being a Muslim. How beneficial has that been, or kind of refreshing to have that positive spin so people can know who the real Belal Muhammad is personally in and outside the cage?
Yeah, honestly, Will Harris does like an amazing job of like really telling your story, not telling you to, not faking anything, not telling you to, stand like this or do this for me real quick. He just literally tells the story in such a beautiful way where fans understand it, and it doesn't have to be in like a conflict of a way. where like I'm trying to show that I'm better than somebody, or my way's right or your way's wrong. He just explains it. He gives you the info, and you can take it whichever way you want it. And I'm just glad that people who watched it, they've all loved it. It's all been positive. And for me, it's an amazing thing too, because it's informing people of what's happening in my country and like what's going on with me as a person and my religion, and showing you that we are real human beings. We are real people, and like fighters in general. We're not all crazy. We're not this. We're not that. We're not angry people, and it just like it shows you we're more down to earth. That's why I love the way Will Harris does it, because he just shows you the real life, real side of fighting.
And do you feel any responsibility being like the voted in face of Muslimism in the MMA world? Because it's not really talked about at all. It's kind of like taboo, in fact.
I mean, I think Habib did a really good job of bringing the Muslim culture into it and showing you guys what our culture means, and about like respect and discipline, and how like even after his speeches were like, respect your parents. Like that's not like that. Everybody should respect their parents. It doesn't have to be a Muslim thing, but it just shows that like we don't have all these crazy rules or anything like that. Like you need to do this, this, and this. Like it's just showing you that a lot of these Muslims are just normal, just like you and me, and we just do certain things a certain way. But 90% of the things we do is just being a good person.
And if you brush up against Leon, are you gonna get out of character, or you got this not a Leon week? But if you see him, or you got something to say to him, y'all gonna pass each other in the bowels of the hotel or whatever, or it's like I'll see you when I see you.
Nah, I already saw him. I tried to poke him, but he ran away. But nah, I'm messing around. That's what I got my dude Lewis Taylor with me for. He's the one who hands us a side business if anybody tries to get jumpy with me. That's what he's here for. But nah, like I said, we're professionals. I'm a professional. I'm not gonna sit there and try to start a fight with somebody out of it. I don't get paid for it, so it ain't worth it for me to do something like that. But for me, I know that I got to get past Maia. For me to get to Leon, I know who I got to get past and what I need to do to get there.
And final question for me: do you have to have a dominant win over Demian on Sunday, or is it just getting your hand raised since he's so tricky on the ground, and we all know he could be losing a fight and climb your back like a tree and get you out of there? So it's about just getting the hand raised or putting on a show and have a dominant performance.
It's about being smart in there, not being stupid, not getting overzealous with him, because that's what he waits for. He waits for mistakes, and with his style, you don't need it. He's not the most explosive. He's not the fastest, but he's like a boa constrictor where he just gets a hold of you. Once he gets a hold of you, you start panicking a little bit. That's when he takes advantage of it. So for me, it's just being smart and knowing that I'm gonna have to put him to sleep if I want to finish this fight. He's not one of those guys just gonna fold or break. Like he's gone 5-round fights with the world's best. So I got to go out there. I got to put on a show, and I got to show the world that, yo, this guy's a contender. Like people are talking about Usman fighting, going up to middleweight and things like that. But now there's still some names at 170 that he needs to beat first, and I feel like I want to be one of those guys.
Hello, back here. Oh, over here. Despite the last fight, you're on a fantastic run right now. So I'm just curious, is there somewhere you would say that was a turning point maybe to what led you to the great run you're on now?
Not really. It's just staying the course. I don't want to overdo it, overthink it. That was my biggest thing, is always overthinking. Oh, I need to do this, or I need to do that. Maybe I should train with this guy. Or maybe I should bring in this guy or that guy. I got a good core of people around me, and they've been with me for so long that they know where I was and how I grow each time. And even after wins, my coach literally the first thing he's telling me, oh, you should have did this, this, and this. Like we're working on fixing our faults, not celebrating the win too much, because we know we want to be the best in the world. And to be the best in the world, you have to keep evolving and keep getting better. And I feel like that's what I'm doing now, is always looking to improve no matter what. Not getting comfortable. Oh, why I won this many fights, so I'm doing the right thing. So let me make weight and I'll be fine.
So do you believe that MMA is more of a mental sport than physical, you'd say?
Yeah, I think it's literally 90% mental. Because I can see too, you see guys nowadays with the calf kick a lot of the time too. It's like, are you going to be tough enough to walk through it, or are you going to fold like a McGregor or somebody like that? Because you're sleeping in silk sheets. So it's like for me, you got to be mentally strong, and you got to be prepared for everything in there. And to have that mentality, you have to train that every day as well.
Thanks, Paul. Good luck.
Well, over here.
How excited are your friends or family that finally they can come and see you? I know they went to Las Vegas, even though they couldn't get into the Apex and see you.
It's amazing. You know, like I said, they would literally come down to Vegas just for Saturday, just to eat dinner with me afterward. So it's gonna be amazing. That's finally gonna be in the crowd, and it's gonna be the first fight my dad's ever gone to of mine. Never went to any of my fights before, so it's gonna be amazing to have him in the crowd.
I know you've been really close with Horatio Gutierrez. How helpful he's been in your preparation for these couple of fights?
Honestly, Horacio's been like a big key in all my camps, and like literally like an amazing coach, but also like an amazing fighter. And I just can't wait for him to get back on the stage because he belongs here. And once he gets here, he's not gonna leave.
You know, you've been training with Ignacio and Horatio and Jair. How much would you say that you have this now like Latino Mexican striking in your own style?
Yeah, like you said, they're all creative guys. They're amazing guys. They're all like some of the best strikers I've ever gone with. So they're helping me evolve my game. They're helping me change and be more creative with my type of striking, and like even with their way of thinking. It's amazing to have those guys around me, and like they're all like young guys who've been training since they were 5 years old. So they've been in the sport for a while, and they understand the way a body moves with striking and things like that. So it's been like a great room of knowledge with all those guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Did your dad not go to your fights for a reason? You just not like to watch you fight?
My dad's literally he had his own business, so like he would work 13, 14-hour shifts. So like he was never able to leave. He's one of those guys, old school. You don't need a vacation. Are you serious? I'm not taking a day off. What's wrong with you? So now like his store got closed down. So like he's been at home and he's been chilling. So now it's finally like it's worth it now.